Welcome to launch day again here at Invite Ministries. I am with my good friend, the Reverend Dr. Rosario Picardo, here to celebrate the launch of his new book, A Fighting Chance in 40 Days 12 Steps to a New Life in Jesus. Congratulations, Roz.
Thank you. And thanks, Len, for your friendship and support and the great folks at Invite. It's always a pleasure to work with you guys. And when you have a project and a vision, a labor of love, having collaborators around you and ministry partners to see it lift and launch is amazing.
Okay, we got to start with the cover, like the Rock'em Sock'em. So let's talk about this a little bit. Like,
Well,
what?
that yeah, that was your own designer came up with that, and it brought me back to my childhood, and it brought a lot of people back to their childhood. So, I there's a fight in all of us, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
and so we're all fighting against something, and yeah, I like the way that it popped. It's different, it's unique. It should win like cover of the year. I don't know how you guys, if we have to
Yeah.
enter him into a contest, but it should get an award of some sort.
Yeah, it's great. I love it, and it really. I think it captures the vibe of the book so well. So let's talk about it. Talk about the book. Okay, what is the inspiration behind it? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I would say, this is a labor of love and a place of pain, and how God uses our pain at times for his glory, and no pain and no tear and no trouble is wasted. And so for me, it was going through the pandemic and finding myself in a hard place,
Mm,
where we all have things we run to in times of stress, whether it's food, whether it's shopping. You can click one button, click on Amazon, get the endorphin rush. Same thing when people are having addiction to, let's say, social media. Ironically, we're on social media, but that same dopamine hit and rush. And so I knew that I needed to do some work and on myself. And the Lord started to show me through the steps ways of becoming whole again,
mm,
especially during that pandemic season and leading out of that. It just feels like yesterday, but it's 5 years ago.
right.
But the ramifications and a lot of what we deal with in our polarized society is still increasingly awareness. It's there, it's glaring at us. So for me, it was out of that pain point and reading a Max Lucado article where he talked about, hey, I'm America's pastor, but in times of stress, I'd go into a parking lot and buy a 6 pack of beer and drink, and he didn't consider himself an alcoholic, but that was his go-to in times of stress. And so this book is for anybody maybe who's already been through the 12 steps, or it is a primer for people to
Mm,
just kind of dip their toes in. And it's really about the transformation that Jesus can bring through, confession and repentance and acknowledging that our life is manageable and out of control. I mean, that's what sin does to our lives. And it gets us down on our knees. And it doesn't mean that we're never going to sin. We're not sin free, right?
right.
But we are set free. And so even though I may still sin, I'm still set free, and sin doesn't have dominion over my life. Sin
Mm.
doesn't have a chokehold on me. And
It's
so,
it's not the inevitable conclusion, right?
right. And,
Yeah.
and so I think that's what this book really delivers. Anything that we may struggle with, that ongoing thing, maybe that's even in the shadows that we don't realize, our mindset or some of our behaviors, our compulsancies, or compulsive natures, and different things like that.
Yeah, yeah. That was the line, that your life isn't too far gone. That was the idea that it's easy to adopt a mindset that a sin you have struggled with in the past might be the thing that it's just you can't shake it, like it's inevitably going to be there in the future. And so the book provides hope to say that's not the case. In fact, when you brought this to me, one of the things I was so excited about was that it was clear about using the 12 step rubric, which, it's interesting. I think as Bonhoeffer said, it was the uniquely American contribution, one of the best expressions of Christianity in American history. It's the 12-step programs, and so anyway, it does that, but it's about more than 12 steps. It's also about discipleship too, right?
Right. And when you get into any kind of group, whether it's any kind of 12 step or any kind of group, it's about transparency. It's about sharing. It's about humility. And then you have to have a sponsor. You should have a sponsor. And we see this in the faith perspective. People I walk alongside with have a sponsor, and then they have a spiritual mentor, somebody that they're looking toward. And I think the 12-step community has taught us what discipleship should mean in the local church, because it's more than just that 1 hour on a Sunday morning. Their routine. I know one of my brothers, he has been in recovery for well over 30 years. He hits his knees as soon as he gets out of bed in the morning, hits his knees at night, and of course has a routine and different things that he does to nourish his spiritual life. But it's that kind of discipline. You don't become a disciple without discipline. And that's what it taught us.
I talk about, okay, so you've got 12 steps, so you got 40 days. How does the book set up to address that?
Well, I mean, in here we cover one for every week. We cover one step, and so as you dig through it, the entry may be just 2 or 3 pages, but then there is doing the inner work, where you're asking yourself some reflective questions you can write in this, and then there's a prayer focus, and then a quote by an author or somebody that really illustrates that point. So with the homework and with the prayer practice, it can make for a great week. And the reason 40 days is a biblical number anyway, so this is perfect for any day. You could go through it with a friend. You could go through it in the season of Lent. I think this is more timeless versus seasonal. You could pick this up anytime. And so I've had few people buy multiple copies. They're going to give it away to their friends. They want to do it with another person or their sponsor or just their friend. And the reality is this book's for everyone.
Yeah,
it's for everyone. It's not just for those people or that person. It's for all of us.
Give me to give our viewers an example here. So I just randomly pulled up day 17, embracing honesty, which is part of step 5, admitting our wrongdoings. So the step 5 there, pointing the wrong page, that's the 12-step language, right?
Yes.
And so what you've done is you've expanded that into more than one day. You've got a scripture from James here, your own short reflection, which is just a couple of pages. I just turned one page there. Yeah. And then I love the phrase "doing the inner work."
Yep.
You just name it. That's exactly what has to happen. And then you give people some encouraging words there to use in their prayer life coming off of that. So I just want to kind of walk through specifically how this works. So you mentioned the final quote there from Brene Brown on this one.
No, that's right. And so it's scripturally based, but also aiming not just for information, but that inner transformative work that only Jesus can do. And so that's why it's a fighting chance in 40 days, 12 steps in a new life in Jesus. So we're naming Jesus as the higher power in this. So, and which I think varies from, different other, curriculum and different resources. But no, Jesus is the one that can make the change, because you can get sober or you could stop a behavior and still be a jerk.
Right.
And still not have the love of God in your heart.
Yeah, right. The fruits of the Spirit. Yeah, for
right.
Sure. Yeah, that's great. And also, just to reiterate what you said, that this would be perfect next Lent for if you're in a local church somewhere. A church-wide could do it. Small groups could do it, over the course of several weeks. And the way you structured it, then it kind of gives flexibility for groups to do it however they want to.
Yep. And churches could use it, do a sermon series around it. I think every church should do some sort of sermon series around the steps. Because it just brings those truths to light for people in practical ways.
So I always like to mention on these launch days that, of course, it's available on Amazon. We've been watching the rankings today. You're currently sitting at number 6 on new releases, so it's great to see it in the top 10. So it's available there. And if you're watching this, if you're supporting Roz, it's great to go on Amazon and buy it, because we want to see that algorithm hit number 1, because it's it helps it make it more visible to new and organic people who are just kind of surfing in and might see it. But also on inviteministries.org, if you're buying it in bulk, we have discounts set up there. So if you're wanting to buy it for your group, buy 10, 20 or more copies, then there's discounts set up that'll be better for you than on Amazon. So I always like mentioning that on launch day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's look at some of the endorsements. You've already gotten some great some words of support from some friends. Dr. Sue Nielsen-Kibbe, also an Invite author. Y'all did Dynamite Prayer together.
Yes.
She said, if you are finally ready to name whatever it is that holds you in its grip and surrender it in exchange for the freedom and new life you've always longed for, this new resource is the answer to your prayers. Say yes now and start your 40-day journey to hope and possibility through the pages of A Fighting Chance today. So love that. Thank you, Sue. Just names it very clearly what it's about. And your friend, Bishop Sir Walter L. Mack from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Dr. Roz Picardo's new book, A Fighting Chance in 40 Days, is riveted with content and colorful examples that shape how we see the world around us, while providing solid exegetical perspectives on social, theological, and psychological perspectives of having a fighting chance. Anyone who desires discipline will find companionship with this reading. I love that idea of companionship. Boy, that's what we need when we have a book like this. We just want to know that the book's going to come alongside our lives and help us where we are today, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. So hopes and dreams, Roz. Like, when you first wrote this book, what did you hope it would do?
Yeah, I hope that it would help move the needle for people when it comes to their own life, whether it's seeing some blind spots in the mirror that maybe they didn't otherwise see, or moving them one step closer into a transparent life, or even getting involved in some sort of group confession, vulnerability with others. So really, I made the philosophical decision a few years ago to really start focusing on resources for everyday people. And this is a resource for everyday people. And you never know how a book's going to do, but my prayer and hope is that people would experience, it could be a tool in God's toolbox for people to experience transformation.
I love that everyday language. That's what we're trying to do at Invite as well. Let's see, if we're not helping move hearts and lives and communities, and why are we even messing around with publishing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you, Roz. It's exciting to see the book out. I remember talking about this a year ago, and here we are. We're actually, I want to mention too, we're in conversation with Fresh Expressions. We're looking at doing a resource with them, applying this towards recovery ministries. You want to say something about that?
Yeah, Fresh Expressions of Recovery, and how church can happen anywhere, and we know that it doesn't have to happen in the four walls of a church, and how we can reach the recovery community in a variety of ways. And so we're going to explore those in a new resource that will walk alongside different practitioners and folks that really maybe want to either dip their toes in leading something like this, or supporting somebody that's leading a work that is a fresh expression of recovery.
So more on that soon. If you're interested in recovery ministry, if you lead one or want to participate or even start one in your community, be on the lookout for that, which I'm sure you'll be talking about on social as we get closer, and so we'll be here at Invite. So A Fighting Chance in 40 days, 12 steps to new life, Jesus. Here it is. It's so colorful. I love it. Catches your eye. All right. Thanks, Roz.
Yep. Thanks, Len.
Now available, everybody.